Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. UFC 328 Khamzat Chimaev vs Sean Strickland happened yesterday, and Sean Strickland has done it again. He has pulled off another major upset against the sitting middleweight champion and has low-key embarrassed Khamzat Chimaev in textbook Sean Strickland fashion with jabs and medium pace. But before we talk about the fraud check, I also want to just briefly, talk about the actual fraud that took place yesterday. I need Sean Strickland, Khamzat Chimaev, and Dana White arrested for false advertising. Because the entire build up to this fight was there is so much bad blood between them, they can't be even in the same room. If they see each other, they will immediately start throwing hands. As soon as they got into the cage, they started like hitting fist bumps. They're doing chest bumps and shit, talking. Khamzat Chimaev was saying, "I love you, brother," to Sean Strickland, and I am like, bro, this isn't what you advertised. I am here to see two people who hate each other fight and not two best friends just sparring inside the octagon. I mean, sure, once the fight is done, you can hug it out, everything is fine, show respect to each other, but I want you to keep the same energy in the beginning that you kept for the entire build-up. I don't want you hugging it out in the beginning itself, and I was kind of like lost some of the hype in this fight just because of this. But again, it's not too much the problem. They were showing respect, even though I feel like this false advertising. But now to the actual fraud check. Chimaev went from, "Hey brother, I kill everybody," to, "I am Charles to Bronx, brother. I'm gonna pull guard and I'm gonna do some jiu-jitsu." This was insane to watch because he was completely done in the second round. Because in the first round, Sean Strickland started to defend the takedowns and the submission attempts, and he was not giving the positions easily like Dricus Duplessis did. And I feel like there was a huge dump in Khamzat's energy in the first round. I mean, once the first round ended, and he was basically an husk when it came when the second round started. And I, for one, felt good that my concerns about Khamzat Chimaev and his style and his abilities were somewhat true, because a lot of people, for some fucking reasons, thought Khamzat Chimaev has fixed his cardio issues because he went 5 rounds with DDP. And in my previous video, I broke down how that is not the case. Khamzat Chimaev spent each round like 4 seconds to get Dricus Duplessis down, and another 5 seconds to get into mounted crucifix, which is one of the most efficient positions that you can get inside the cage. You're not. It doesn't take too much energy. You won't be spending too much energy from this position. So when he had to actually work to get to the positions, he started breaking down, just like how we saw him against Kamaru Usman. I also think his actual jiu-jitsu is not that good. He's quite good when he has to like drag people around in wrestling positions with the back take. I mean, not a back take, but when people have when he has his hands locked around you when he's behind his opponents and he's just dragging them around, trying to get the hooks and stuff. He's quite good there, but his actual jiu-jitsu, I don't think it's actually that good. And I think that was also the reason why he had a lot of trouble. He had keeping Sean Strickland down. because a lot of his submissions just comes from the opponents panicking because they got taken down and they try to like scramble heavy, and the he takes this time to jump on a rare naked choke or like a darts or something, which is the only two submissions he's actually good at. So that's one of the things I was extremely interested in this fight, because I like, again, another contrary to what people think, Sean Strickland is not a high paced fighter. He is an extremely constant medium paced fighter, and he is actually good at slowing things down. When someone is like a fast paced fighter like Anthony Hernandez or like Khamzat Chimaev, he's not gonna be like panicking. He's gonna address things one by one, and he's gonna slow the whole process down. And that's exactly what he did against Khamzat Chimaev. So when he got taken down, he immediately started addressing things one by one and slowing things down. Like Khamzat tries to get the Dagestani handcuff to get to like get a better position, and Sean did such a good job fighting the hands and like not letting Khamzat Chimaev get to his wrist. When he got to the back, Sean Strickland wasn't panicking. He was just like, okay, next time, know what's coming is the rear naked choke, so I'm gonna immediately defend it. And he was doing it before Hamzat even was trying to get to the rear naked choke. Like his hands were there before Hamzat tried anything. He was calculated in this fight. He wasn't panicking. And if you watch this fight and compare it with Robert Whittaker for example, you will see the difference in how calm Sean Strickland was. He's not matching Hamzat's pace, but he's slowing Hamzat down by addressing things one by one slowly, but like properly at the proper time, instead of panicking and like doing a lot of movement, wasting energy. And this was again another big question. Even though Sean Strickland has been in the UFC for so long, we have not really seen Strickland's grappling defense at the highest level. I mean, we have seen he's quite good for middleweight standards, but we have not actually seen him against a really, really high level grappler. And I think this was another surprise for a lot of these Khamzat Chimaev fans when they found out that chins don't break immediately as soon as Khamzat Chimaev puts his forearms on top of it. And it actually needs to be a rotten jaw, like Robert Whittaker's, for it to actually break immediately. So Sean Strickland does this, defends everything from Khamzat Chimaev, and the second round starts, and Khamzat is already gassed in the second round. He is not there fully anymore, and he was getting reversed by Sean Strickland in the beginning. When Sean Strickland landed a few good shots, I don't know if it was this time or when Khamzat actually pulled guard, that he actually did some really good damage from the top. But I think a lot of people are also saying it's Khamzat Chimaev wasn't really like gassed, but he got hurt from Sean Strickland's punch. I don't think really that's the case. I think it was a solid shot, but it didn't really look like he's completely out from it. And when he pulled guard and stuff, that's not from being hurt. That's from exhaustion. So I don't really think that was the main factor to why Khamzat Chimaev was extremely passive in the second round. I think it's more so because of the cardio issues and also the adrenaline dump. Because every Khamzat Chimaev fight, he runs to the octagon. He's keeping a high energy. He's sitting there. He's like constantly talking in the first round. He's like dragging other people around in the first round. It's like such a fast-paced fight in the beginning, and when you have like a 1 minute break after that, there is a huge adrenaline dump which exhausts people. And I think it's more so this than he was actually hurt from the Sean Strickland right hand. And then from third to fifth round, it's like a typical Sean Strickland jab fest where people can't really tell who's winning the fight because a lot of his opponents are hitting his shoulders and stuff, but it looks like they are actually landing, and Sean Strickland is just like jabbing and moving around. So he almost lost to Khamzat Chimaev for the same reason he actually lost to Jared Cannonier. Third to fifth round was like kind of boring, man. I saw Joe Rogan at the post fight telling Sean Strickland, "This is the best fight that he's ever seen." Like, bro, what are you talking about? This fight was extremely boring. It was interesting for the first two rounds, and then third to fifth round, it was just jab fist. Nothing really. It's a typical. I mean, like, unless you really, really enjoy Sean Strickland's style of fighting, it's not that entertaining. I'm sorry to say that. I don't think it was that crazy of a fight. Then the only like hype about this is the fact that Khamzat Chimaev was losing. But to Khamzat Chimaev's credit, he did not quit at the second round. I think he caught a second wind, a second wind in the third round, and he was slowly like getting his energy back, and he was starting to fight back properly. And the fourth and fifth round, he was the one again going forward with a lot of forward pressure. He was doing more. It looked like he was moving a lot, was throwing a lot of activity, but Sean Strickland was landing more. I think at least in the third and fifth round. Um, but yeah, it was quite an interesting fight, and I do believe that he wasn't 100% in this fight. Like he came into the fight somewhat injured, I guess, because of the weight cut maybe. But again, no one comes into any fights at full capacity. And we also found out after the fight that Sean Strickland came into the fight with a shoulder injury. So yeah, it happens, man. But I think he really needs to fix his cardio stuff. Everyone says that he is the most hardworking fighter, but he is the most hardworking fighter for one round. It looks like he needs to really like do more cardio, and I don't know if he can actually. This might actually he's just like a fast twitched athlete, and I don't think he will ever be like 4 5 round fighter. But maybe he can be a better fighter if he properly paces himself and he's not actually running to the octagon in like before the fight and actually like fights more efficiently. Maybe he can go all 5 rounds if he does that, but he needs to. I don't know how good it's gonna be for his style because a lot of his success just comes from all the fast pace and all the fast pace which leads to the opponents panicking. So I don't know how well he will be when he is like more calculated and like because his striking is not that good either. It's very basic. He has like a pretty solid jab, and then sometimes he will throw like a overhand or like a high kick, and then he will shoot down. That's basically all he does almost. So it will be interesting to see what he will look like at light heavyweight because he is moving up, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. And I'm glad that he did lose this fight because I think he would have went up anyway. But it would have left the division with a lot of questions. So I'm glad like he fought Sean Strickland in the end. He actually lost, and maybe he will be better when he is fighting at light heavyweight. But it's to see, man. I don't know if he will do actually well. I think Hiri Prohaska and Magomed Ankalaev, these are gonna be quite hard fights. I don't know how well he will do against people who are that big. So there are a lot of questions now, but we will hopefully find the answers soon. And Sean Strickland will most likely be fighting Nasruddin Imavov. which is a rematch. But I think Imova will do actually better this time than he did against Sean Strickland in the first fight. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in another video.